What is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to break down the process I've been using to hit consistent personal records in the gym literally every single week. It's been blowing my mind how strong and energetic I feel. So yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully you get a lot of value out of this video because this process has literally changed my training and helped me build muscle really quickly. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
All right, there we go. Let's dive into it. So here's the presentation, how I hit PRs consistently. We'll start off with the framework. So the guiding philosophy behind this is that hitting PRs, which is short for personal records, is necessary for muscle growth. Basically, what we're doing is we need to increase the tension we put the muscle under to force it to grow. That's how muscle development works. Is essentially what we're doing during our training sessions is we're breaking down the muscle. And the way that we break it down is by putting it under more tension and more stress than it can currently handle. Once we break that muscle down, then that's where the recovery time is so important, because that's where the muscle actually regrows. And if it was under a higher stimulus than what it can handle, it's going to regrow bigger and stronger to be able to meet that new stimulus we just gave it. So that's kind of the mindset behind muscle growth. Now, the reason that I'm so passionate about this is not just about building muscle. It's because it's actually a metaphor for life. And what I've found for myself is that as I've learned to push myself out of my comfort zone on purpose to grow muscle, I've realized that that also applies to everything else in life. And so the way that I like to think of it is like the better I can get at, getting uncomfortable in the gym and sort of being able to be in tune with myself, listen to my body, know when to push, know when to back off, I can use those same principles in my life with my growth in any other area of life that I want to grow in. Final point I want to make about the framework and guiding philosophy is that basically the way I want you to think about muscle growth is that we want to be in what's called the zone of proximal development, if we take the psych term, which has to do with learning. And essentially the idea of the zone of proximal development is the yellow spot is, what the learner can already do just by themselves. That's already what they're capable of. The light blue circle is what they can do if they have a little bit of assistance. And then the dark blue circle is what they can't do, even with assistance. So when we're training, we want to be in this middle circle right here, where it's just out of our comfort zone. It's just out of like what we think we can do. And it's not in this outer circle, because if we push too far, obviously that's where we get, injured and lots of other issues can come up. So in this, I guess, like framework that I'm going to walk you through, it's how to figure out where this space is for you, how to stay in it consistently, and how to optimize all the other parts of your training and your lifestyle to basically be able to push yourself into this zone of proximal development as consistently as you can. Okay, so let's start off with proper fueling. So this is before a workout. At least have 50 grams of carbs before your workout. That's what I try to do. For example, eating a single bagel is 50 grams of carbs. Just to give you, context, or 2 slices of bread is also 50 grams of carbs. 4 to 5 rice cakes is also 50 grams of carbs. So something like that is around how many grams of carbs I use. Now, this will vary from person to person, depending on how heavy you are, what your goals are. Some of you might need just 25 grams of carbs and we'll be fine. Some of you might need 75 grams. So if you have any questions, you can just ask me and we can figure that out. The second rule I have for myself with fueling is no big meal within 2 hours of the workout. I've tested this and there's also a lot of research on it. We don't want all of our energy going to digestion when we're trying to work out. You're not going to be able to lift as heavy. Secondly, if I have a big meal within that 2-hour window before my workout, I tend to feel sick. I tend to feel sluggish. I am not able to push myself as hard. And so, yeah, it's just a better idea to not have a massive meal before. It is fine to have the carbs right before. Like I eat my carbs 30 minutes to an hour before my workout. That's totally fine because your body will be able to process them really quick and they'll hit your bloodstream during your workout, which is a really cool feeling. If you time it right, it's an insane feeling, honestly. It feels like just a new level of strength was unlocked. Okay, so I'm going to go through now for these 4 different things. These are 4 things to do during the workout that are going to significantly boost the amount that you're able to push yourself. So those are thoughts, checking in with yourself, audio, what you use as like a stimulus, audio wise, and then how to make it fun. So here are thoughts. I'm going to start off with what I don't do anymore. And some of this, I'm going to tell you, like, I'm going to be honest, these are things that people have said to me while I'm lifting. And it's kind of crazy to think that like this is so normalized as men in society to talk to each other like this. But this is like literally these last 2 quotes here are things that I have heard many, many times while lifting. It's not cool at all. It's not good. I don't surround myself with people who talk like that anymore because I have made an active choice that is not in line with my values. But it's real, and I'm putting it out there because, you know, it's a thing. These top 2 are things that I did used to say to myself, which is I used to be like, oh, come on, like, you're not good enough. Like, what are you doing? Like, you know, this weight should be easy for you. Or I'd be like, I'll only be proud of you if you can hit 12 reps at this weight. Otherwise, like, you suck. Basically was like my mindset, which as I'm sure you could tell as I'm saying this out loud, it's not very, you know, helpful to do that. And sometimes it would, you know, rile me up enough to get to that, you know, lift. But even when I would hit it, like it wasn't like an accomplishment. It was almost like oh, thank goodness. Okay, I don't suck today. You know, it wasn't like something that's very sustainable. And so now I'm going to show you what I say instead. So right before a lift, I tell myself, you got this, you're strong. I also do, instead of saying, I'll only be proud of you if, I say, let's get at least blank. And then I shoot for a number that I know I can definitely hit, which is in my, if we go to this, it's in my yellow zone. So I give myself a number that's in my yellow zone. I'm like, okay, Zach, last week we hit 10 reps. Let's get at least 8 today. Okay. I know we can hit 8 because we did 10 last week. And then I say, and then let's shoot for 12, right? If I'm feeling good and this set's going well, I'm going to push myself and see if I can get 12. I don't tell myself, I'm not going to be proud of you unless you hit 12 reps. Okay. That doesn't work. I do like to use, I'm proud of you for showing up. So sometimes going into a lift, maybe I'm not feeling that great. Maybe I'm like, you know, being a little hard on myself. Like, oh, come on, why am I feeling weak today? I just remind myself, hey, I'm proud of you that you're here. I'm proud of you that you're showing up because that shows that you care about yourself, you care about your goals. Will every single workout be amazing? No. Will every single rep of every exercise be amazing? No. But I'm proud of you for showing up. Another thing that I like to use, sometimes I get in my head with comparison. You know, sometimes I'll look at another guy at the gym who's like lifting twice the weight I am, and I'm like, dang, what the heck? Like, I'm so weak. That's crazy. And then I kind of have to center myself, remind myself, hold on, I want to be better than I was yesterday. Realistically, the only person I can actually compete with is myself because I'm the only person who's had all of my life experience. So it's not fair for me to compare myself to somebody else because they have a whole different life experience and situation than I do. So in reality, the only person I can actually truly and logically compare myself to is myself because I'm the only person who's had the same life experience as me. Another thing that I'll do when I get in my head is I'll think about how far I've come. If I have a thought like, oh, like, man, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not as strong as I want to be. I'm not as big or ripped or whatever, you know, thing I'm thinking about. I remind myself of how far I've come in the gym. And again, hopefully, as you're seeing these different things, you're seeing the connections that can be made between this and life in general. It's not just about our bodies or our fitness. It's really about how we talk to ourselves in general. Again, one more thing about the being proud of myself part is if I didn't hit a PR, that's okay. I'm still proud of you. What that shows me is let's rest so that we can come back stronger next week. Okay. Every single workout I go into, my body is not at 100% every single time. And so that's okay. All right. Now we're going to go into check-in. So how should I actually know when I can push myself and when I shouldn't? I constantly, literally throughout the entire lift, I'm asking myself these 4 questions all the time, pretty much after every single set. How are we feeling? How much energy do we have right now? What do I think I can do in the next lift? And then what do I need to be successful in the next lift? So do I need music? Do I need a podcast that's going to hype me up? Do I want to be listening to the course that I'm working through so I can feel like excited about, learning about the next steps for my business while training? It's kind of like a dual, like growth on two fronts, I'm learning knowledge and growing my body. Do I want to listen to a book? Whatever. If feeling pain, I stop immediately. This is super important. I used to think like, oh, push through the pain, like, stop, like all these things, stop being soft, like, come on, like, all of this, like my ego really was what was, getting in the way basically and telling me, oh, keep pushing. And then I would actually get injured. It would set me back further than where I was before. And that's just not it. Basically, we don't want to be doing that. Now, when I'm feeling good, I progressively increase until I can reach true failure. And so this right here, these two things of like feeling pain, knowing when to stop, and when feeling good, knowing when to push, is the keys to sustainable fitness progress, because you can't just do one and not the other. Like on the days that I am feeling good, it's important that I actually do push myself further than I thought I could, because otherwise I won't be progressively overloading. But if I'm feeling pain, I have to stop. So it's kind of like this balance of like, I want to be uncomfortable, but I don't want to be in pain. And when you figure out that balance, like that truly is the key to sustainable progress. When it comes to pushing to true failure, the biggest thing that's helped me is overcoming my fear of failure. And how this works is by knowing exactly what to do when I fail for each of the different exercises. So that means having the knowledge base of how do I drop the weight safely? How do I re-rack? Am I asking for a spot if needed? Like all of these things are part of overcoming that fear of failure. And when you have all those steps in place and you know what to do when to fail, then that allows you to push to the actual true failure point safely and know that you're going to be fine. Again, this is a great metaphor for life, with, prepare, basically like understanding like, okay, what would happen in this situation if I do fail? What are the steps I need to take so that even if I fail, I'll be okay? And I think just knowing that like, okay, even if I mess up, I'll be okay, gives a lot more like, I don't know, there have been a lot of times where I've pushed myself beyond what I was capable of because I knew that if I failed, I would be okay. And I think that's a really important piece, is like knowing what happens if failure happens. Okay, cool. We're almost done here. So for audio, again, with the check-ins, I'm asking myself, how are we doing? How much energy do we have? What do I need, to be successful? Sometimes I'll forget my headphones or not even feel like needing them because I just want to be present. That's cool, right? Some days I don't need any external, blaring of something in my ears, Other days I really, really need it. And I wanted to point out to all of you that the biggest thing, if you really need like motivation and you do well with like hype stuff, like you do well with like high energy, like epic soundtracks, like motivational speech, like let's go, let's get hype. Fearless motivation is hands down my favorite thing ever, for that. Like literally on the days where I'm feeling like low or, whatever, low energy, maybe not feeling like pushing myself really, I'll put on fearless motivation. I'll literally put on my noise canceling headphones and I just lock in. Like I just lock into some fearless motivation soundtracks. So if you want my favorite ones, I can send them over to you. But some of the soundtracks I will say are in the lines of these types of things, so we don't want those. But there are some that are really, really empowering and really just like about self-love and about pushing yourself. So yeah, I love that. I also love listening to podcasts on discipline, on self-development, on business while I'm lifting, because like I said, it's like I'm learning at the same time as lifting. And secondly, the podcasts that are specifically about discipline could be highly motivating to be hearing while you're in the gym, or like Huberman's show and like, learning about the body, how to optimize it. All that stuff is great. And then I also love listening to audiobooks on Audible. Okay, that is audio. Oh, last thing on audio. Sometimes I'll just listen to like chill music. If I need to like calm down, I'll listen to like Ariana Grande or something random. Like, it all, again, that's why the check-ins are so important. It all just goes back to, what do I need right now? You know, and constantly asking myself that, and it'll change throughout the workout. Sometimes, you know, usually before my heaviest, hardest sets, I need fearless motivation, you know, and then during my back off sets, maybe I need to chill a bit, and I like need, you know, some movie soundtracks, for example. That's something I also love. You know, just kind of go based off of what you need in that moment. Okay, last thing is to make it fun. So I track all my lifts. If you use the Gladiator app, you know that you can track your lifts. View it as a game. It'll basically calculate out for you, you know, if you've hit max volume, if you've hit, you know, the highest weight you've ever hit. You can even go back to all your previous lifts for that specific exercise and see what you've hit before, because again, our only competition is ourselves. So it's really cool to be able to go back and then, you know, like sometimes I'll start off my warm-ups like 5 pounds higher than what I did the last time, and kind of just to kind of see how it feels. And then if that warm-up's feeling great, I do my first working set 5 pounds higher than what I did last time. And I'm like, oh, dang, I'm feeling great. Okay, I'm going to bump it up to 10 pounds. You know, like I can just kind of go like that. Or some days I'll do the 5 pound increase and I'll be like, oh, geez, this is really, really hard. I don't think I should do this today. And that's cool too, right? But having that backlog and viewing it as a game of like, ooh, okay, which exercises am I going to be able to push myself harder than last time? Helps me a lot. And then lastly, just, you know, pairing it with an enjoyable activity or a growth activity, whatever it is, to, you know, make the gym more fun. Oh, and one more thing I'll add here is go with a friend. I love going to the gym with friends, just, you know, build community, meet new people at the gym too. I've met really cool people at the gym that I've become friends with, that I've lifted with. So yeah. All right, that is the presentation.